Hello, this is Danny Raymond, the voice behind Ray's Guide. Recently, Salty Mike did a reaction video on Certified Gumbo's proposal for improving Jumptown. Now, I'm not going to do a reaction to a video, because that's just getting too convoluted. But it did make me feel like a need to revisit the idea of what the next Jumptown will need to be like, which I did a video back on in January, but I didn't mean to just be rerunning the Current Jumptown 2, which they inevitably should do, but rather a whole different event to supersede it eventually, which I regard as not just desirable, but necessary. Now, one of Salty Mike's general observations was that Certified Gumbo's version was too much on rails rather than spontaneous emergent gameplay that is many persons' desired goal of Jumptown, and that it had a whole lot of bespoke programming needed for an only occasional event. I realized that was also the case for my ideas in January, and I will attempt to do less of it in this system. But Salty Mike also said that his desire was that Jumptown just be a marker with a pot of gold that told everybody to go there. And that was the last thing it can be in the future, because with server meshing and larger shard player counts, just putting up a marker and saying everybody go there will simply overwhelm the game server for that location. That's the thing, not just about the next Jumptown, but the next anything else. Events with large participation must try to have dispersed activity to work well with server meshing. The goal is multiple skirmishes around a common victory or defeat. So here's my distillation of what I would find a fun way to do that. And Salty Mike pointed out that we should talk about what we find fun and not tell CIG how to be game designers. And so this is what I think would be fun. But CIG, if you're watching, this is the way you should do it. First, the prerequisites needed for this version of Jumptown. Number 1, Pyro. This version belongs in Pyro. It should also be the first and primary server event for Pyro. In fact, the previous versions of Jumptown would have made more sense being in Pyro, if it existed yet. Number 2, server meshing, hopefully with larger shard player limits. Number 3, the cargo refactor. Number 4, taxi missions. And number 5, bounty hunting version 2 with kidnapping missions. Compared to current bounty hunting, these involve actually having to capture and deliver the bounty or kidnap to some place. This, of course, has the co-requisite of stun weapons. I understand that sounds like a lot, but none of this is bespoke to this event. It is all stuff already in the plans. This idea has very little bespoke coding, and that's a good goal. About the only new capability needed for this event would be the ability to loot mission information from an incapacitated player, presumably by tapping their Moby glass. And that may have other uses too besides just this mission. Now, I'm trying to walk the narrow line here between an homage and a ripoff of a beloved television series. If I step over that line, I'm sure I'll hear about it in the comments, but please understand at the start, my intent is a homage. Phase 0. Rumors begin that a mysterious figure known as the Chemist is about to return from an extended absence to begin applying his legendary skills.
Better high means customers pay more.
In particular, the drugs that the Chemist produces not only sell for 3 times as much, but also have the unique property that delivering them to a major city causes demand to increase rather than be satisfied. Player organizations start building reputation with the faction rumored to be protecting the Chemist while hiding on this shard, in the hopes of being the organization selected for Phase 1. Note that the appearance and retirement of the Chemist is how CIG controls the occurrence timeframe of the server event. Phase 1. Phase 1 starts simple. It is a taxi mission to take the Chemist to the secret laboratory that has been set up for them. The actual location is random per shard to prevent shard hopping exploits. It might be in a cave in an underground facility, or an abandoned outpost, or a derelict ship isolated in the wilds. Whatever. Once delivered to the laboratory, the Chemist becomes a mission giver. Specifically, missions to bring all the top quality materials that they need to do their work. And once delivered to the lab, every 15 minutes a batch is completed and available to the players to open one of a rotating set of containers and see what has been produced, including the possibility of nothing being produced. The quantity being produced each 15-minute period is based on whether the Chemist had all the proper materials and whether they were undisturbed by gunfire or explosions nearby. The Chemist needs quiet and calm to do their work precisely, and without that, batches are ruined. The drugs themselves will then need to be loaded and can be delivered either to one of the local gangs who will pay a quite profitable price to smuggle the drugs themselves, Or you can smuggle them yourself to various locations in Stanton, which will pay a huge profit because of the long distances and risk of being caught. Phase 2. As the Phase 1 activities continue, all the other Pyro gangs and player orgs want to be in on the chemist's action. They don't know where the chemist is located, but they do know, from prior experience, where the chemist gets his materials from. So every delivery mission from the chemist generates a mission from the other Pyro gangs to stake out the location, incapacitate the person coming for the materials, and then steal from you the mission information that gives the location of the chemist on that shard, which they can then share with others, just like sharing a mission. So the big effort in Phase 2 is protecting the delivery missions from ambush, and not the secret drug lab because it's still secret. Phase 3. Once people know about the location of the chemist's formerly secret drug lab, things have an unstructured layer added to the continuing actions from the prior phases. So, now you've learned the location. What do you do with that information? Well, you could do the obvious thing and launch an assault to take over the lab itself, but that will pay a big opportunity cost in terms of lost production from the chemist during and immediately after the battle, and will probably just result in a retaliatory attack. You could try to blockade it and extort payments from the owners. You could try to monitor it and snare ships as they are departing and pirate their contents. You could team up and do some of the delivery missions or provide protection in exchange for cash or some of the drugs. You could offer to buy some of the drugs wholesale and then ship their product on the long, risky, and profitable run to locations in Stanton. Phase 4. Eventually, the chemist gets exhausted and decides it's time to close up for his run. This generates two things. First, a taxi mission to bring the chemist to where they started, but also the other gangs of Pyro wish that they were the ones controlling the chemist, so they all offer kidnap missions to incapacitate the chemist and deliver them to their outpost. Whoever wins is the new starting gang on the next run for that shard. Law enforcement. Now, is there a role for the folks who disdain the gangs of Pyro and are all in for the advocacy and the CDF? Yes, of course there is.
Get a big old raging hard-on at the idea of catching this piece of shit.
The chemist has the highest bounty in the game for what is technically a PvE bounty. I'm talking millions. But they only pay if he's still alive, and they don't know where he is either. Only the same tips about where he gets his supplies from. So anybody wanting the bounty has to do the stakeout, defeat the players and protection doing the delivery missions, steal the data, defeat those protecting the chemist's location, grab the chemist, and get them all the way back to Stanton while being pursued because stealing the chemist triggers rescue missions in exactly the same as the kidnap missions in Phase 4. And that is what I think would make a great redo of Jumptown for the upcoming changes in the game. And bear in mind that just continuing to run Jumptown past server meshing is not an option. With large shard player counts, it will be necessary to change how events are designed. Now for an update on our Grow the Channel ship giveaways. First, we have the short-term giveaway of the Bar Citizen World Tour participation card, autographed by Chris and Sandy Roberts, that is running just for videos between June 15th and July 31st. And then we have the big ship giveaway. As of recording, we are at 75% of the subscriber goal and 73% of the membership goal to give away to some lucky player their choice of the Anvil Liberator, the ship shipping ship for shipping your ships, or the Misk Odyssey long-length lookout launcher lorry. One entry per video. Subscribers are entered automatically, and if the winner is a subscriber as of the publication date of the winning video and at the drawing time, they will win both the Liberator and the Odyssey. For non-members, just subscribe and comment with the secret word. And the secret word for this video is...
Now, say my name.
Say his name.
You're goddamn right.
Fly safe, keep it real, and I'll see you in the verse. This is Danny Raymond for Ray's Guide.